You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Tuned Into Tennis. We have a lot to cover to get us to where we are exactly right now in the ATP Tour season. We are in the beginning parts of Q2, but before we get too deep into the European clay court season, we should take a look back on how we got here. And to help me kind of curl through all of the things I may have talked about on the mic, some I maybe didn't because I was traveling, and everything in between, I have two return guests onto the mic and Tuned Into Tennis today. First, we have Mr. Clinton Smith, who is just one of my... Clinton, feel free to interject here. How long have we been talking tennis? I had to step away from the intro.
I think this makes 4 years.
On the Clubhouse? Actually, bump what I was about to do with the intro. Valdez, how long have I been talking tennis with you?
2 years. It was almost exactly 2 years when we spoke Madrid 2023.
Did we really talk about Madrid?
We spoke about Madrid 2023.
Sorry, guys. I just went into pure, not even thinking about audience mode. Welcome, Clinton. Welcome, Valdez. Hi.
Yeah. It's been 4 years.
It's been a minute. We've been talking, all three of us have been talking tennis for a minute, which is why I thought about you guys to kind of curl back and file through what has happened through Q1. Because we are in the midst of Madrid, actually, which is funny that Valdez just mentioned that. I think before we get into Madrid, let's walk to see how we got to where we are. Before, let's say, January to now, what has been the most memorable match that you guys can think of on the ATP Tour? I feel like that'll help direct our conversation and unpack some stuff. Clinton, you go first.
For me, I have a couple. The first, they're both recent memory. The first is Alex de Minaur versus Matteo Berrettini at the Miami Open. Very sweaty encounter, I'm sure you remember. Yeah, that one was very, very exciting. I don't typically watch Alex de Minaur because I tend to have better things to do with my time, but it was very entertaining. That match was actually very entertaining. It looked like he was actually putting pace on the ball. He wasn't just counter-punching Matteo's shots, because he tends to be quite powerful on the forehand. And then a bit of a sentimental favorite because they're in the final stage of their career. Gael Monfils versus Grigor Dimitrov was a close second for me. Lots of shot making from the old heads.
Speaking of old and head, Gael Monfils actually shaped up his head for his wife's WTA 250 triumph this past week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you didn't see the haircut?
Rouen? No, I didn't watch. I didn't get to watch, I should say.
Oh, we got to show you. Well, I mean, credits to Svitolina because she did her thing, but we got to show you the Gael Monfils haircut. It's actually pretty fresh.
Well, it started with his face, so now he's moving up to the top.
Clinton, I'm not even. Valdez, what is your memorable match so far of this first quarter of 2025?
When I think about memorable matches, I think about matches that I think could sort of define the course of the year. And specifically, I wanted to highlight Carlos and Fils. Their Monte Carlo. Was it a quarterfinal? Or, it was a quarterfinal.
I think it was a semi.
It was a quarter.
You're right. You're right. Look at me not being tuned into tennis. Look at that.
Well, no, they just played a semi. So
yeah, they just played a semi in Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I think Fils came out with intent and purpose, and Carlos was not ready for the pace that Fils brought at him, and he found himself down love 40 at 5-all in the second set after already being down a set. And at that point, you're thinking, well, ooh, Carlos, I mean, are you gonna get something going this clay court season?
Mm-hmm.
And then no, and somehow he digs in, and I don't know whether it was the air of Carlos's invincibility or Thesis' sort of lack of experience in those big moments, but ultimately Carlos wriggled his way out of that one, got the Monte Carlo title, and then has built confidence now in Barcelona, and he seems like the favorite going to French Open regardless of the Sinner situation. And then the other match, of course, that we thought at the moment was going to be defining in the year was the Djokovic Alcaraz match at the Australian Open. Djokovic, all the headlines. Djokovic is back. He has triumphed over Carlos Alcaraz. He is a favorite over Zverev in the semifinals. But lo and behold, that was all he got because he only made it. He barely made it through one set in that semifinal match against Zverev, and that's been it. And at this stage in Djokovic's career, he's not. Yes, he did make the Miami final, but what does the Miami title do to him? Like, what does the additional Miami title add to his resume? Of course, he's chasing that 100 title, but he hasn't won a title in almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
His last title was the ATP Finals in 2023. Of course, he did get the Olympics, which is a big goal, but I would say those are the main two matches.
I think one of my matches that I think of so far in the year is definitely including some of you guys' mentions, especially you, Valdez, when you mentioned Arthur Fils. Arthur Fils defeating Musetti at Indian Wells this year was one I remember watching almost every point of at home, and I feel like it had great implications because Arthur Fils went on to reach that quarterfinal, the quarterfinal of Miami, and the quarterfinal of Monte Carlo. So I feel like we're watching his ascent in a very methodical way to the top of tennis. I really hope that he takes this first quarter of the year, sees it for like the advantages that it has and like how far he's come in his game, but know that there's still more to do. I feel like he's one of the names that could be right up there with Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner. He just has to kind of do the winning and keep it up, and also have health on his side to kind of get there right there with them, because I think his tennis is there. It's just a matter of his maturity and everything else.
Isn't he just a year or a little, just less than a year younger than Carlos, I believe?
Less than a year of who?
Fils. Isn't Fils just less than a year younger than Carlos?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. He has time.
He has time on his side. I just kind of want to see it. That's all. Like I want to see more of the Carlos Alcaraz and Arthur Fils matches. I think the ATP Tour needs that. And shucks, I need it. I can be a little selfish and want to see those matches. Maybe some other people that maybe this next list of like people that are in my notes here are people that aren't playing as well, and some of them I kind of am surprised by. I think I should go with the one that I wrote first, Alexander Zverev, because I have a interesting relationship when it comes to Zverev, because like I almost, how do I put this? I almost overcompensate for him in a way that like I feel like he is eventually going to win a major. So when he gets to a major final, I'm like, like he did earlier this year at Australia, I'm like, okay, like it keeps happening, so it's going to happen for him. But then he goes on these like rough patches kind of afterwards, like he's going through now with barely putting matches back to back since the Australian Open final. And that is surprising to me because it's never like other players I've talked about on like a WTA tour and some on the ATP tour. There's something you can kind of point to that goes wrong in their game technically. Zverev doesn't have one of those. So when he goes on like long spells of struggling, I'm often wondering like how did that impact him? Am I making sense? Am my wheels turning?
I would beg to differ.
Okay.
The forehand, the aggression on the forehand has been a sort of an age-old tale. If you just any match, when you just listen to the commentators and pundits in terms of what does he need to take that next step, I think the two main things that have plagued his game has been his defensive nature and his forehand when it comes to those crunch moments. And I would say those generally, if you look at all the Grand Slam players in the last 20 years, everyone has, even Andy Murray had to at some point learn that I have to step up. Andy Murray was that sort of defensive player. He had to step up the aggression on the forehand, especially for Wimbledon. And I think Zverev is still very, very defensive. And so
He stands so far behind the
he
baseline.
does too far back.
Is there anybody, Clinton, that you are surprised is like slumping? Or feel free to follow up on Zverev if that's the one that stands out to you.
Well, yeah, actually, I do tend to agree with Valdez in terms of that little blip in his game. The forehand, I do notice. I mean, his backhand's obviously his best ground stroke, but on the forehand, I have seen too many of them land in the service box on just like neutral rallies, not even him like being on the run. So I definitely agree with you there. But I guess he also stands so far back that it's kind of hard to hit the ball deep when you're not stepping into it. But I don't think anyone who's in a slump right now is surprising me, if I'm being honest. Like, I feel like so many people have certain parts of the year that they perform well in that we just haven't reached that part of the year. I think we may have alluded to this before, but like Medvedev, if he would take the cake there, just because he has performed well in Australia and on hard courts throughout his career. He just hasn't been producing much. And honestly, I'm putting him, I'm putting him on retirement watch, honestly.
Medvedev?
Yeah, I'm putting him on. I don't think the passion for tennis isn't there. And he's growing his family. And
he's turning 30 next year.
Yeah, he seems like he's actually an engaged father, unlike certain coaches in 24-time Grand Slam winners camps. So I think he wants to like be a father, be a dedicated husband. He's also married. Like, yeah, and it's starting to show on the court.
I have to sit with that, Clinton, because I don't think I've ever considered that Medvedev would retire before like 35 or something. I thought he would just kind of be one of those guys that's always around.
His game also isn't sustainable. Like, he plays outside of his service games. I feel like he plays a little too passively. Yeah, like he has a really good serve that gets him out of his service games, but when it's time to return, it's weird because he does have a good return, but I think he plays too many rallies for it to be a sustainable career. Like
I haven't thought of Medvedev's serve in a long time. Like I haven't seen him hit an ace or something. I don't know what it is. You know,
it's actually pretty good.
That's correct. No, actually, Clinton, you're right. You're both right, because I think a lot of stats. I forget whether it was Tennis Connected or a lot of these tennis websites that do a lot of stats. Up until 2023, his serving stats have dropped precipitously since 2023. If you think about Medvedev's rise from 2018-ish, 2019 till 2023, when he was comfortably one of the top three best hard court players after Djokovic. Like, he was the one taking, like, he was threatening Carlos on hard courts. He was beating Sinner all the time on hard courts. He was threatening Djokovic. He was winning slams, getting to slam finals. And if you think of they said he had a problem with his shoulder or something for the last year and a half. And he's been very cryptic about sort of the impact, but his serving is not getting him through matches easily anymore. And that's why he's losing, Clinton, because he can't rely on his game anymore. It's too much effort. And then if you can't break serve, you can't hold serve as easily as you did before, then it's a lose-lose. And it's getting harder. And he's also spoken about motivation in terms of like his family and life. And so I wouldn't say that he's going to retire next year, Clinton, but I would say that he has mentioned sort of issues with motivation. But the person who takes the cake for me in terms of slumping is Ruud. Casper Ruud. I don't. If he doesn't get something going somehow, he's going to be like in the probably out of the top 25, honestly.
You know, I saw Ruud play up close when I went to the Dallas tournament in February, and he made the final of that tournament. And I thought he may have been, I don't want to say turning a corner or anything like that, but maybe specifically on hard courts.
It felt like it though. I thought so too. Watching,
yeah, it really felt like he was getting better on hard court, but then it didn't translate to Indian Wells or Miami, and now we're at the clay court season, and there's still a lot of time left to be played, but he didn't do very well in Monte Carlo, and he didn't come close really to defending his title in Barcelona. So like those are indicative things of like his level being a little bit beneath where it is, like beneath where it should be and beneath where the other guys are. Like it's beneath the Carlos Alcaraz, it's even beneath the Arthur Feast, it's beneath or even a Holger Rune. So like that puts him behind the 8 ball, and especially on a surface where he gets a lot of his points, I'm a little concerned, like you said, Valdez, that it's not trending well for him going into Roland Garros where he's been so successful.
Do you want to guess where Casper Ruud is in the race?
Is he top 20 at least?
20th.
24.
24. I mean, if you ask,
his ranking's 18, so
if you ask me to talk about the 20 most interesting players or 25 most interesting players over the last 6 months, Casper might be the 25th name I mentioned. I mean, respectfully as I can say that, like,
Yeah, of course.
What are we to do? Sorry, Casper.
I mean, he's a lot like his name.
A ghost?
He's a ghost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Clinton, I really can't. Okay, that's a great segue, Clinton. You know who's been a ghost, but only a short-term ghost this year? Jannik Sinner. He hasn't played in 3 months. He's been a ghost off the tour, but his name...
He was forced into being a ghost.
He was forced into being a ghost, a forced ghost. For a guy that was forced into being a ghost, his name is still at the top of the rankings, isn't it?
So very much so.
We see him.
People like Zverev don't know how to step up.
And that's not to go too much into Zverev, but just to kind of pin that up. Zverev has been playing poorly, by his own admission, because of what could have happened if he would have won some events and just gone deep. He would have gotten to world number 1, and I feel like he thought about that and psyched himself out way too much, especially when now, like, the 3 months is almost over in a couple of weeks. Sinner still has a relatively decent grasp on number 1, and you're just now finding some kind of confidence in Zverev, where Sinner... This is where I kind of want to take this conversation. The Klosterball saga has ended, but do you think this is going to like rev up the engine in Jannik Sinner? Or do you think it is in some way, because he's been out of the competition, do you think it's going to maybe possibly hold him back? Clinton, I want to hear from you.
That's a good question.
I put you on the spot, see?
Yeah, it's a good question, because like the believer in karma wants to say it wouldn't be right for him to come back and just outright like return to the form that he was in. But then again, he also hasn't been suspended for that long. He just won the last 2 slams. So I think he's still going to be playing like a number 1 player, but also I don't want to see him like win immediately after. I think that sets a very bad precedent for the ATP Tour. To have someone be gone for so long and no one step up to take the mantle, and then he just returns as normal, I don't think that looks good. But I think it's weird because he didn't play poorly when this whole thing came out. Like,
yeah, he kept winning. That's very true.
Best tennis
as a matter of fact, he hunkered down and played better.
Yeah, he was like, well, cross the ball or no cross the ball, I can still win a slam.
I can still hit this ball.
So, exactly. So I don't think it'll be that much of a mental thing for him. I do think, unfortunately, he's just going to come out like with something to prove, honestly, because he's still got 2 other slams left to collect the career slam. So I think that would motivate him.
Valdez, are you happy that it seems that this Clostebol saga has come to an end? Like, are you happy? Are you happy with the like happy medium that is the 3-month ban that he's been serving? And where are you with like processing Yannick Sinner being off the tour and almost back on the tour?
I mean, the the whole Clubhouse situation with all the controversy and whether it was around the ITIA and the sort of overall governing bodies for doping and the players' response, I think everything has just been really exhausting.
Mm.
And I think I'm over it. I really am. Like whatever your views on sort of the situation of sort of the actual occurrence of the appearance of Kosovo in the system, whatever your stance on that is, he was ruled. It wasn't intentional, and it was ruled
Allegedly. So
exactly.
I can't say allegedly, I guess, because it's been deemed or no, has it? Because didn't he settle? Isn't the 3-month isn't the 3-month ban a settlement? Okay.
It is a settlement. So the 3-month ban is a settlement, and it is an agreement that we have seen. We are agreeing that you're not fully responsible. Like you didn't intentionally dope, but you are responsible for your team. And that's what the courts have, the governing bodies have decided, and we're going with that. In terms of the actual tennis, I think back, Iga and Iga is just like the most recent comparison that we can have.
Iga Swiatek,
How long she had a 1-month ban, or was it 1 month?
Yeah.
1 month. And since then, she hasn't won anything. She hasn't made a final. And
she's come close, but it just hasn't culminated to like that winning moment. And you think that might be the tale of Sinner, maybe, possibly?
And I'm not saying it will be the tale of Sinner, but I'm just genuinely fascinated by what he brings to the court. No pun intended. I'm genuinely fascinated by what he brings to the tennis court. Come clay, because clay has traditionally not been his best surface. He hasn't won a Masters 1000 on clay. He hasn't even made a Masters 1000 final on clay. He hasn't won any big title on clay. As a matter of fact, he's won one title on clay in his career.
Was it Umag?
Yeah, it was Umag against Carlos, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe that was
exactly
like a match for them, yeah.
Exactly. So he's really unproven on the surface. So it's really just to see what form he brings, and I'm also curious in terms of like, let's say Carlos wins Madrid, and then we're coming into Rome. Like, how does Carlos react? Like in terms of like, you're being touted as the favorite for the French Open, and how does he? And you know how Carlos struggles. Carlos struggles with a lot of the things that goes on in the media. And so, well, how would Zverev respond if he wins Madrid and he has a chance to ascend to number one?
What if Alex de Minaur wins Madrid, which is what my fantasy draft did?
That is not going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen?
It will not happen.
In my fantasy draft that I finished last night, it definitely happens.
Yeah,
did you let the algorithm pick for you?
No, I was just kind of chilling on the sofa and just doing some things that I thought would be cool. And I thought I feel like the way de Minaur lost in Monte Carlo to Lorenzo Musetti, he said something on Twitter about like, there's a breakthrough coming for me soon. And I kind of do believe that. I feel like Alex de Minaur is going to
say that.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to break through when we least expect it. He might be the one that ends up winning Madrid or Rome or something like that. And
remember up until when he lost to Carlos in Barcelona, how he was tearing people up left and right, 1-1, 2-2, love and love.
Yeah.
But he did that. He did all of that, and it didn't culminate even in a final at Monte Carlo. He lost to Musetti after I believe he served. Barcelona. I believe he served for the match against Musetti in Monte Carlo.
Musetti served for the match.
Oh, okay.
De Minaur brought it into a tiebreak.
Well, yeah. What if
I could see the breakthrough, just not on clay?
I see it too, but not on clay.
You know what breakthrough I didn't really see coming? I did not see the breakthrough of Jack Draper being an Indian Wells champion. That to me is indicative of an open. I'm not to say that Jack Draper should never be competing or like should be in the conversation for winning one. It just is that Indian Wells kind of surprised me, and now we're going into the clay court season, which I really can't think of that many matches I've seen of Jack Draper on clay. But his name is now he's now a top 10 player with a really big Masters 1000 title kind of on his back. Kind of reminded me of what Taylor Fritz did a couple years back. Like, didn't see that coming, but now he's in the mix. What does he do now? I don't know. I'm trying to process it while also talking. Jack Draper is kind of like going to be looked at in the next couple of majors. How did we go from him puking on the court at the U.S. Open to this happening? And is that indicative of this being like a different kind of era in men's tennis? What do you feel?
Yes, this era is starting to feel reminiscent of when Serena went on maternity leave on the WTA Tour, where you have your HBIC go away, and now it's time to see who's really capable of everything.
I truly am the HBIC. Sorry, that made me think about Tiffany New York Pollard.
And we see Djokovic is heading towards that downward spiral. So now it's the tour is becoming a lot more open. It's not just the big three who are winning these titles. And so, I mean, I guess people like Jack Draper are like, why not it be someone like me? And I think this swing, I would say from like April to June or July even, because he's a Brit, is where he needs to strike, because his fitness in the humid conditions of the North American summer, I don't see him doing.
He did make the U.S. Open. He did make the U.S. Open semifinals.
He did, but
that
then,
was on the backs of puking and some matches. Like, I mean, he did make the U.S. Open semifinals, and that's kind of where this string has come along. But it just something about that run was not memorable, and it felt like his opponents really hit the wall before he did, and that's how he kind of ended up in the semifinals. You know?
Yeah, I think when it gets warm and humid, I don't think he really meshes with that too well. So I think he really needs to strike while the tour is centralized in Europe and the conditions are more favorable.
I don't think it really matters that in terms of surface, because I don't mean that in a like surfaces don't matter. I just mean that a lot of the players that we've known as perennial top teners have vacated the top 10 or are going to vacate the top 10. So Rublev is out of the top 10. Who else is Rublev is out of the top 10. Tsitsipas is out.
Rude.
Medvedev is out. Rude. So that's 4 spots that have been vacated in the top 10. And Fritz has not been performing as well. So Djokovic is definitely on his way out. So that's 2 additional spots. And then Musetti is number 9 and Tommy Paul is at number 10.
Is that a career high for Musetti?
Yes, that is a career high for Musetti. And so I see opportunities for Shelton to get into top 10, who's at number 12. Feast to get into top 10 at number 13. I see opportunities for we already spoke about Jack Draper, who's already at number 6. But there's so much opportunity because a lot of these people we've known to perform in perennial top teners have vacated the top 10.
We're seeing a different. I hate using the changing of the guard, but I feel like we're seeing a little bit more. We're seeing a little bit more sensation kind of get up to the top 10. Somebody that we haven't talked about at all that did perform well or had one really huge shining moment in this first couple of months of the year is Jakub Mensik. He
he's at number 22, and there's not that many points between him and Tommy Paul. It's just like 1,000 points, and that's why the rankings are so fascinating. Like you would think that someone's like 20 and someone's 10, it's a big gap in points. He has one good run, and hey, he's in the top 10.
Yeah,
so
he did have a good run in Miami, and he literally downs Novak Djokovic, but I shouldn't say but, because tennis moves so quickly. He kind of he still should be feeling the highs of that. But it kind of just happened, It kind of one of those things that happened, and the clay season is here, and nobody's really talking about him again. But I do wonder if that might work in his favor. Although he's similar to Jack Draper, I don't really know much about or have much mental imagery of him playing on clay. But he does have a whole host of confidence now in doing something large. So I'm wondering how that's going to play into like this Madrid-Rome into Roland Garros swing for him. Clinton, was Jakob Mensik ever on your radar? And do you even have any like big thoughts about him at all?
No. Okay. But I did like what I saw in Miami.
Okay.
Which makes me think that his transition to clay may not be that good for his game, because he has a really big serve and like pretty big ground strokes as well, which I think would be better suited for the grass season. So I'd love to see him like continue his momentum like on clay, but I really think the grass season is where I expect him to
I agree.
do better.
Like his compatriot Thomas Burdick.
Exactly. Check that.
Who? Oh my gosh.
Were you waiting to unload that?
Well, as soon as he said it, I was like, I gotta unload.
Wait, okay. Maybe this isn't the greatest segue, but I feel like both of you guys do have big thoughts on this player, because there's somewhere between, like, there is a chunk of the season that we can look at so far that they performed well, and there's also some key events that they have just kind of just not shown up for. And I'm speaking of the sensation from Canada, Mr. Felix Auger-Aliassime. I believe both of you, like I said, have big thoughts on them. Clinton, I'll hit you first, because I know at one point you were like the leader of the FAA fan club, or somewhere thereabouts. And then Valdez, feel free to hop in. But the leader of the FAA fan club, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say from like 2019 till about the end of 2022, I was on board with Felix Auger-Aliassime, Baby Arthur, as we used to call him.
Meaning you're not on board right now.
No, I popped. That's a burning ship. I know when to leave. So yeah, there was a point in time where he was my favorite player. I mean, he shares the same birthday as my other favorite male player, Roger Federer, August 8th. And we were born the same year. So like there was a lot there that I like, that resonated with me. But his play has just been so abysmal, so stagnant. Like I don't see anything noticeably different about his game between now and when he first started, honestly. And other than the fact that he's got like a better sense of how to win finals now. But
I was going to say haircut.
Yeah. I don't think that's helped him really.
It didn't make him a little aerodynamic?
No. Even getting engaged, like nothing that you would think would make him happier on court has worked. So he needs to make huge changes in his camp, honestly, and get different voices in his ear to tell him like things that he needs to be working on.
So Valdez, you don't think him winning Adelaide and what was the other tournament he won this year? Montpellier and the final of Dubai. You don't feel like any of those things really mean anything in the grand scheme of Felix Auger-Aliassime?
Was Dubai a 500?
It was.
Was Dubai a 500?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's a defending finalist in Madrid, and I just checked the rankings.
Wait, where is he, Valdez? He's the defending champion of Madrid, right? And where is he?
Not defending champion, defending finalist.
Defending finalist, sorry, yes.
And he's.
But you could have gave him that, Valdez. We could have called him a defending champion for like 2 seconds.
I mean, he didn't even do anything to get to that final. So it's almost like no one wanted to play against him in that tournament, apparently.
Maybe it'll happen again for him this year.
Isn't that the same thing? Almost the same thing that happened in Dubai this year? Like he had
2 walkovers, I think.
Oh my goodness. So he will drop to number 26 in the rankings if he doesn't defend those
That's
finals.
still too high. That's higher than I would have expected. Yeah. He's not playing top 30 tennis.
What's his estimation? You don't think he's top 30?
No, I think he's like 87.
Clinton, are you being serious?
Actually, do you have the rankings pulled up? Can you look up the number 87 player in the world right now?
Hold on.
Oh my goodness. This is Jan Lennart Struff.
Oh yeah. He has lost to Struff before.
Boy.
Yeah, he's not playing top 50 tennis. 87 honestly,
wait, no. Actually, the 87th player in the world right now is Mr. Christopher O'Connell.
Oh.
Wait, I'm looking at the live rankings. You're looking at the official rankings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the official rankings. See how it trips us up.
Okay, if we go by live, yeah, Felix is down there with them.
Why are you down there?
O'Connell. But he can't beat Struff confidently.
Do you know Bublik? Bublik is 70 something in the world.
That doesn't surprise me.
Really?
I mean, when you don't take tennis that seriously. Ooh, speaking of Bublik, I'm going to tie Felix Auger-Aliassime into this because Bublik is a part of the let's black out our racket and see what happens brigade that Tsitsipas is also on. But I need Felix to like have brunch with them and see what they're doing with those rackets so he can maybe try out some new rackets and get some momentum going because I believe Bublik even got, and this is like, I'm going to go from small momentum to large momentum. I believe when Bublik changed or got that blacked out racket to whatever he's trying to switch to, he made the final of a challenger or something he was playing that week. So that was like an immediate, like, oh, I'm winning more matches than I was. When Tsitsipas debuted, he got to the final of Dubai and beat Felix Auger-Aliassime. So that was the very much so like, oh, new racket, new stuff out on Tsitsipas, which hasn't really turned out that way, but maybe it's still brewing. Whereas Felix has been using the same racket since like, I don't know, Hector was a puppy, and it's not helping him. Like he's doing all the things you said at the beginning, Clinton. I don't feel like I'm seeing a much better player than the one that captivated me when I watched the U.S. Open in 2020. I specifically remember watching him play Andy Murray, I believe, at the U.S. Open in 2020. And granted, it was an Andy Murray that was nowhere near his prime, but he
dismantled him.
He smoked Andy Murray, and I was like, I can get used to this. I can watch this guy get better and better and better, and it hasn't happened, and it frustrates me, you know? Ugh.
Yeah, the racket. I mean, he refuses to make any sort of change. The only change that he made was probably not even his choice, was the switch from Nike to Adidas.
And to get engaged. Was that his choice as well?
Well, yeah, he had to drop down. He had to drop a knee.
Drop down and get your eagle on, girl. Sorry, I don't know where that came
from. But yeah, he had, like, when it comes to his tennis, he has not made any sort of changes. He's had the same coach. Well, no. He did add Tony Nadal. That was a bust because the loyalty.
Oh, we're going way back. We're going way back. Okay.
Even though I'm paying you, you're not going to sit in my box. Like, please get out of here. And he has basically the same coach and the same racket, which Babolat I don't think would work for someone who has as much power as Felix does.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
I recently tried out a Yonex racket. I like it.
Was
and
it the E-Zone?
People like it was the E-Zone. I see why people like Kyrgios and Osaka like do well with Yonex. It helps those power players get pretty good control of the ball. Reel it in
a little bit more, yeah. And he needs, like, sometimes his shots do need to be reeled in a little bit more. Like, he still hasn't developed safety on the second serve as much as I want to, and a reliable backhand. It just is not. It's unfortunate. Like, I hate to have real talk when it comes to Felix, but it's unfortunate that like 5 years on from the moment that I just described of like realizing that I actually like the way he plays tennis. It just doesn't feel like the next 5 years I'm going to feel that way. You know what I mean? Like this feels like a kind of a mark in the road for Felix, especially now that we're on the cusp of him being, defending finalist in Madrid. After that happens, where else does he pick up points? The rest of like, where does he defend points at? I don't know.
Nowhere really.
Like, so if he doesn't do well, like, yeah, that might it's a double-edged sword to kind of be down at the bottom of the rankings, because like when you do get big wins or you put wins in a row, your ranking moves forward quickly, but sometimes you're down there because your confidence is so low or your game is just not clicking. So how do you actually get out of that rut, and I don't know.
I mean, speaking of people who need to get out of ruts,
Who's that?
I mean, we already spoke about a lot of them. We spoke about Rublev, of course, but I wouldn't necessarily consider Francis in a rut.
You
He's at
wouldn't?
numbers. I mean,
Francis is Francis.
He's at number 16, and the bulk of his points are the U.S. the hardcourt swing in terms of defense. So he could actually pick up some points because he didn't do anything last year up until Wimbledon when he tugged on Carlos this week.
I just get I'm sorry, I'm just real talk. I get the impression from Francis. I'm not trying to be off base, and if I am, if this gets to anybody, please correct me. I get the sense that like Francis wants to be good on clay, but like the absolute grit and desire to do so is not as high as it is on maybe other surfaces. I could be wrong, but I get the vibe that he just kind of goes along to get along on the clay. He's not bad at it, but he's not amazing, and it's kind of just like it is what it is. And he plays tennis like that until we get to Wimbledon, and that's where he kind of revs it up. But I don't know. And I think this is me just kind of coming to terms with my expectations for Francis, because Francis might just be of the ilk of player that really turns it on at a specific part of the season, a la James Blake in his heyday, where we could kind of always, depend on him to show up during the U.S. Open series. Maybe that's just the kind of player Francis is, and everywhere else is a little bit of a hit or miss. And he's just so fun for me to watch when he's playing well that I kind of want to see that more throughout the season. And it's unfortunate that we don't get that. So I would say he is in a kind of a slump, especially if you look at the numbers from the U.S. Open from last year's U.S. Open in 2024 until Houston that just passed in April of 2025. He had won back-to-back matches. That's a stretch from September to April to not win back-to-back matches, only one, and then lose one, win one, lose one. That's not momentum building much at all, So
yeah, no, I see. I mean, keeping on the theme of Americans, what are your projections for Americans like Tommy Paul, Shelton, Korda, and Fritz over these next few months on the clay?
On the clay, the next few months, my expectations are low, to be honest with you. Not that I want to be surprised. Like I want to be surprised. Yeah, I think Tommy. I think I think Tommy has a good relationship with the clay. I just don't necessarily think it brings out the absolute best in his game. Like he's a more than adept mover on it. He's comfortable on it. I just think that there are people who are, unfortunately for him, a couple notches above him, and he runs into those people. Like he made the semis of Rome last year. He hasn't actually played on the European clay yet, so this Madrid 1000 is going to be his first foray into that. But when I saw the draw, I believe he could possibly face João Fonseca, and João Fonseca, funny enough, is kind of that's somebody who I think of that has weaponry that translates well to clay. Like Tommy has some weapons that translates well to clay, but Fonseca, when he's clicking, I know he's still young and there's a lot to be proven, but when he won the 250 in Argentina in February, like he showed glimpses of why his game seems to be explosive, in particular on the clay, and why people are so hyped about him, So I don't know about the American guys. None of them have that kind of je ne sais quoi on the clay. It's kind of it just kind of happenstances for them a little bit. Like not to say they don't work hard to get where they've gotten in the clay court tournaments, but sometimes when they pop up in semifinals, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and then it never happens again for them for a little while, and then it happens again, and like, oh, okay.
Didn't Fritz do something significant on the clay courts last year?
He semied in Monte Carlo last year, I believe, or Madrid, one of those.
And maybe Rome. Oh, Rome, and lost to Zverev, I think.
But yeah, but think about the big picture. Like, are you considering Fritz to be a threat in any of these?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was just, and plus, I think it's going to be even harder for Fritz because he's out of match play. He's been injured, lack of confidence, so it's going to be even harder for Fritz to replicate the results from last year. But I'm glad you brought up Fonseca. What are your I'm excited. Clinton Fonseca. What? Say something about Fonseca.
So he's amassed quite a following
very quickly
in such a short amount of time, and I can't name the commentator that started this mess. I don't want to say it was Jim Courier because I tend to like Jim Courier,
Same.
but it was someone of the same cloth. Who
of the same cloth? Is he a priest?
Yeah. Ever since Australian Open, they've just been raving about João Fonseca. And don't get me wrong, like he's got the game to back it up, but they were just holding
Piling
him
it on.
Yeah, they were just piling it on. They were making it seem like he was getting ready to challenge Alcaraz and Sinner like immediately. And I personally don't see that yet, but I do see the foundations of a phenomenal player that will be at the top. And because he has this following, like he's going to be a fan favorite in a lot of the places that he goes. We saw that at the Miami Open where there's a huge Latin population. They turned those matches into football, worldwide football.
The vibe was great, yeah.
Matches.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I'm excited by his game. The fanfare is a bit much, in my opinion, compared to his peers around the same age who are doing similar things.
Like whom?
But isn't Mensik is his age group?
Yeah, that's true. And Mensik has a 1,000 now.
Learned Tien, of course, hasn't won a title, but Learned Tien has gotten significant results. I think, and so even I think all of that next gen group. I'm thinking about Alex Mickelson, who's had steady results. I'm thinking of course, Alta Fees, who played.
Yeah, he's in that group as well. Yeah,
finals. I think they've all performed well this year. So I'm really fascinated to see out of that next gen group from last year who played those next gen finals, who's going to be, of course, Fonseca and Fis and Mensich and Tien are performing well. I think Basavaredi hasn't been. It's been sort of a tough transition to the main tour for him. But Fonseca, for me, it's a wait and see. Let's wait and see.
Wait and see. I'm fine with waiting and seeing on Fonseca because I do believe that he has, and there is a place for a big, raucous South American crowd in men's tennis. And if he brings that and his tennis backs it up and he can kind of, direct the crowd throughout this clay court season and just make it memorable, by all means, go do that, Fonseca, because I think that'd be fun for men's tennis because what we've talked about so far doesn't. Although I have to, I feel like I say this often, so people that listen to me know the clay court season and I are a rocky relationship as far as my genuine interest in it. But Fonseca coming through and rocking up a crowd and doing what he does on the clay, Arthur Feast doing it, I'd be there for that as well. We kind of stopped and talked about him a little bit. I really kind of still feel that Alex de Minaur might be brewing. I might be reaching here, but I was impressed by what I saw in Monte Carlo, even though he didn't come away with the title. And I think he is believing in himself on the clay. But like players that make tennis exciting, obviously Carlos Alcaraz does too. I just don't want to see. I want to see something fascinating on this clay court season. Like I'm waiting for something to wake me up. I don't know if it's going to happen in Madrid or if it's going to happen in Rome, but I feel like this first couple of months in general for the ATP Tour has been, I don't want to say sleepy, but it's been...
It's not a lie. It's been sleepy.
I don't know. It's just been a little disjointed. I think that's because Sinner wins a Grand Slam and then we don't see him for 3 months. Carlos Alcaraz at the biggest events has been a little up and down, although he has a Masters 1000 and the 500 this year. That's great. It just, we still have memories of like it looking a little wild and antsy for him at some other events. Because that's kind of how he plays tennis. As much as it's exciting and electrifying,
it is wild and
it's wild and antsy sometimes. It's like, oh, what is he doing out there? But then he makes it work. He makes it work. So I want to see who steps up to the challenge in this clay court season. But perfect example of who I don't want to win Madrid, but he won last year, Rublev. What did that do? What did we get from that?
I mean,
he just happens.
Yeah.
Like,
wasn't he sick as a dog and had to be like on IV drip?
He couldn't yell, and Felix still couldn't win. That's crazy.
He wasn't sick enough, to put the pause on Felix. So,
no, I agree with you. Speaking of Carlos, I was just reading on Twitter right now. It seems like Carlos may withdraw from Madrid.
Is that breaking news?
Yeah, it came out like an hour ago, like an article.
I actually would not be mad at that because Madrid is not the best indicator of who is going to be a dominant force in the final four stretches of the clay court season, meaning Rome and Roland Garros. Unfortunately, like Madrid is clay, that altitude there just doesn't always give it a great indication because Zverev's won it a couple times. And yes, I guess you can actually make that link now that I say it, that, Zverev's been to a final.
Carlos has won it twice too.
Yeah, has Carlos ever won the French Open and Madrid in the same year? I don't believe so, not yet. Yeah. I think has Rafa done that? I believe I would imagine he has. He must. I would imagine at some point
he'd have a better chance of trying to figure out when he hasn't.
Yeah,
Madrid wasn't his favorite clay tournament though.
But I think he still won it at least four times. But you're right, Valdez. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just searching and itching for something from this season because as I think about, like we've talked about for the last almost hour, the first quarter of this year on the ATP Tour has been a little sleepy and dreary, just a little bit. And I could use a pick-me-up. I could use some caffeine, a little cafe mocha, a little macchiato, a little something, and hopefully that comes.
A Celsius.
Hey, Celsius! If anybody is listening to this, or you know somebody that works with Celsius, y'all got something on your hands now. I don't have any near me, but I think I have one in the fridge, and that is some good stuff. That is some very, very good stuff. I have to say, y'all did that. Y'all did that. It's a very nice. Never mind. This isn't an ad for them, but yes, get you a Celsius.
Well, do you know who needs a Celsius?
Who's that?
Who I think needs? I think in terms of what I think about, I just think about someone who needs revitalization or just let it go.
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
I mean, there are quite a few. I mean, Djokovic, for one.
Do you want to see him revitalized, Valdez?
I said, what I mean, not that I want to see him, I said he gets revitalization or he lets it go. Like, something has to give. That's what I mean. By, like, if the results don't start resulting, he has to let it go. I feel the same way for Dimitrov. I feel the same way. I feel the same way for. I'm just going down the rankings. I would say those are the two main players. Although players like Monfils are having this like career resurgence, but for all of that,
when did you do that?
He's number 40. He's 42. he's 42 in the world.
Okay.
Exactly. So
the resurgence, though.
That's a strong word for number 42 in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not the guys that I feel like are making their way out of tennis. I'm not focusing on them as much as I'm focusing on the guys that are like 21 and under and, just on the cusp of making it feel like we are in this like Avengers Infinity War era where a lot of people have different strengths, a lot of people have some weaknesses, and they're all vying for like different Infinity Stones across the world. See, they need to hire me for this kind of stuff because that's how they should be pitching the ATP Tour in this era where it's not going to be. Let me break it down. So on one hand, there is like a cream of the crop because if you look at the actual Infinity Stones or Grand Slams, if you will, they've only been shared since 2021, mostly 2021 to now, have been shared by three people: Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, and Yannick Sinner. I think the only person outside of those names to win a slam since 2021 is Nadal, who's retired, and Medvedev. So, and Medvedev doesn't seem like he's at the peak of his powers anymore.
Yeah.
It's either like they're winning it or like the next person that's not named them is going to be a representative of this Marvel Avengers. And I'm kind of curing up in my head of like, who's going to be the next? And I know we've spent so much time talking about like Carlos Alcaraz being the next, but he has done the thing, and I'm interested to see like how he navigates another part of his career, like kind of fending off the people even younger than him or rivals, if that makes any sense. Like I want to see who the like. Yes, he has a rival in Yannick Sinner, but give me the next tier. Let me see. I want to see more of the movie that is Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz trying to gatekeep all the things, and the guys named Fils and Musetti and Draper, Runa, like
Shelton,
Fonseca, like all of those. I need all of those gunning for like those titles as well, because that makes it so much more interesting. I think, at least.
I agree. I agree with you. And I think, well, if Carlos withdraws from this tournament, I need some of these players, aka Fils, aka Fonseca, aka I don't know, like a lot of these players. I need someone, even Holger Rune. Can he follow up in college? Like I want to see someone be like, you know what, I'm here. Like like
make room for me.
And
add a slam as well.
We actually haven't talked much about Holger.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about Holger because he's won Barcelona his first title in 2 years.
I'm still not sure what to make of Holger Rune. I was actually like trying to come up with some content ideas, and I wanted to include Holger Rune, but I was a little hesitant and unsure of how to do it. Because he's had an interesting career arc in the sense that like he won that Masters 1000 title at the end of 2022 in Paris, and unfortunately for a lot of players, it's a great achievement, but unfortunately that tends to be like their big shining star of an achievement. Think of Jack Sock, Karen Hatchinoff. Also, I think there might be somebody else. David Ferrer. I think that's his only Masters 1000 title. I didn't foresee that coming for him, but I wouldn't be mad at anybody that kind of started to connect the dots and see that might be the trajectory he's on, like a talent that never quite got up to where he felt like he should, and he's still plenty enough young to change that. Young. Yeah, he's plenty enough young to think about that. But I'm the wheels were turning, is what I'm saying about like where does he fit in now, because he's kind of like Zverev and Medvedev seem to have been lapped by Alcaraz and Sinner, because we know if all four of those players play the best that they can, we know Alcaraz and Sinner are beating Zverev and Medvedev if they all play up to their strengths. Whereas Holger Rune never kind of fell on either side of that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not sure where to put him. I know he's won Barcelona, defeating Carlos Alcaraz in the final, but I kind of want to see more. I just want to see more. I want to see more matches with him and Carlos Alcaraz, and just to see him against the field and see sustained success from him. You know, I think it'll be interesting. I'm not sure how it would play out, but I think it would be interesting.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think he hasn't won a title in 2 years. That dreadful Indian Wells final, losing 2-2 to Jack Draper, and I think this was a bigger win for Holger than it was a bigger loss for Carlos. Like he didn't need to win this title, but I think in terms of confidence, I think Holger absolutely needed this to like jumpstart his clay court season. Otherwise, it would just be like, well,
Holger Rune, yeah.
So I think it'd be interesting to see where he goes from here. I do agree with you. I need to see more. I'm not convinced either, but we're watching this space. So on a positive note, we're watching this space to see how he sort of takes this victory forward and see how he carries forward from that.
Because when he's playing well, he has the game to stack up against.
Yeah, he has a very good record. Sinner. He has a good record with Sinner, actually. I think it's level or maybe 4-3 or something like that, or 3-4. So he has a good record with Djokovic. He has a a balanced record with Alcaraz, albeit his 2 wins have come in matches where Alcaraz either retired or was physically compromised. A win's a win.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like, based on what we're saying, he may fall under the category of players who only get up for those big matches. And you have to be able to be disciplined enough to bring the motivation match in and match out. Because that's the only way you can consistently see those matches that you get up for, is to put in the legwork day in and day out, in like matches that may not necessarily be as high profile.
I think we're just seeing his maturation at his own speed. I think he really has high desire to be a Grand Slam champion, world number one. I feel like that comes through, but I don't feel like he has, like if it happened for him tomorrow, I could feel like it would be all too overwhelming for him, because he just kind of seems a little bit still like a teenager in a 20-something-year-old's body, which isn't that much different anyway. But like he seems, compared to people his age, he might have a higher ranking than some of them, but he doesn't feel like he has the maturity all the way, if that makes any sense. But it's coming for him. I think it will. It's a matter of time. So, well, speaking of time, I think we've made good time in this conversation. I like to keep it at an hour. We haven't, I shouldn't say we haven't, because we actually have touched on Madrid quite a bit, but I just wanted to put a little teaser in here for what we have coming for Madrid at Tuned Into Tennis, although that's not my favorite tournament, and I've already made some tweets about it, actually. I'm going to try to push out some content for Madrid, because, it might be an indicator of what Roland Garros looks like, or it just might be a fun tournament. I feel like if I meet it with positivity, it might just be that for me. But speaking of positivity, I feel like there were some very positive moments from this episode with Clinton and Valdez. Clinton, Valdez, thank you guys for jumping on the pod. Any remarks you want to say before we tune out of here?
Clinton, you go first.
I mean, it's been a bit of a sleepy quarter, but I'm actually looking forward to the clay season. Rome is actually one of my favorite tournaments.
Okay.
And then there's like this 2-week gap that I don't remember each year. I think it's called Roland Garros. So I think I'm mostly just looking for Rome, and then I probably want to check out until Wimbledon, honestly. But I am hoping that there is some more excitement, especially as certain players get back into the swing of things.
I'm with that. Valdez, any parting words?
I'm just really excited to see who steps up this clay season. Is Carlos going to run with it? Is someone else going to come up to the plate? Is Sinner going to come back and do something? And who are the young guns? And there's so many points on offer. So there's so much to for a lot of points players to gain over this season. So I'm just really fascinated to see how sort of this part of the season, they're like between now and the clay season, like 5,000 points on offer. 4,500 max. So if you play all the tournaments from now to French Open, you could get 4,500 points. And so
I think if I do a video or a podcast every day from now until the French Open, I might get 4,500 subscribers. I feel like I deserve that.
Yeah, you deserve more than that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I agree with you, Myles. I'm looking for more excitement. It's been a sleepy, sort of someone like, what's really happening? Who's leading the charge? And yeah.
Gotcha. So. Well, let's cheers to a better Q2, an interesting clay court season going into the grass court season. And thank you guys again for helping me cover Q1 and look ahead to where we are in the season. It's been fun, and I will check out everyone on the next episode of Tuned Into Tennis. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F-words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/zip to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip.